Alright, good morning guys. Today we are going to learn a new reading strategy. It is going to be called Read with a Question in Mind. It's going to go along with some social studies. So our first step is to introduce the topic when we're reading with a question in mind. So to introduce the topic, I have a question for you. What previous knowledge do you have of World War II?
It involved the United States.
The United States was involved. I love it.
It was
The Long War. Okay. Do you think it happened recently, or do you think it happened a long time ago? Okay. So to give us a little bit more of an idea after this video, I want us to watch over what life was like for the civilians in Germany, which was a country involved in the war.
Berlin, 1941. The Second World War intensifies on the new Eastern Front, and the radios indicate that the German army is advancing at a steady pace. It is only a few months before Operation Barbarossa fails, and the Russians begin to twist the fate of the front. Much of Europe is in a critical situation, but on the German streets, life goes on and faces challenges that are very different from those of soldiers. In the next few minutes, we're going to show you what life was like for a German civilian under the Nazi regime. But before we continue, we welcome you to this new episode of Military History, a channel where you'll find the most compelling stories and facts about the different moments of the military past. And now, prepare to travel back in time. When we hear about the National Socialist regime and Adolf Hitler, we immediately think of World War II, but not so much of what the average German citizen was going through during that time. Either because history is written by the victor, or because the gaze on the Germany of that time does not discriminate between civilians and military. The truth is that the...
Okay. They lived a really normal life. Cool. So we're going to cross that part out. We watched the whole thing and loved it. We introduced the topic. Okay. Our next step. Okay. Now step 2 is going to be to share some ideas. So did you find any similarities in that video introducing it and the life that we live today?
They still went to school, and then we go to school, and then they had similarities, and like if they had moms, then they would probably do cooking after school, and then their parents would go off to do their jobs.
Okay, I love it. Do you have anything you want to share?
We both have a leader.
Okay. That's a very good observation. That's a new one that I didn't think of. We had a strong leader in it. Okay, so I'm going to just introduce y'all to the passage we're about to read. So I'm going to read the first paragraph for you. I'm going to go ahead and give it to you. And you can read along with me if you want to. But I am going to read the first paragraph. Okay, during World War II, life was very different for everyone, including girls in Germany. Girls had to adapt to new ways of living and face many challenges during this time. Let's take a closer look at what life was like during World War II for German girls. So, question, adapt. Can y'all help me with that? What do you think it meant to adapt?
To change.
Okay, to change, to get ready, to learn a new way. I like it. Okay, so what could be some possible challenges you think they face? So when we think of war, when we think of hardship.
Having to adjust to
Okay, having to adjust to the violence. Okay. Can you think of a time in your life where things have been hard?
Whenever I get in trouble.
Okay, when you get in trouble, sometimes it's hard. Something that stood out to me, a lot of times when we go through hard things, we're going through it just us or just our family. And this was like countrywide. Everybody was going through the same things. So, as we read with the question in mind, you've got your pen and you've got your note card. If it is something that we've talked about that you found the answer for, I want you to mark it up and put an A next to it. And if it's a new question that has stormed into your mind, I want you to mark it with an N. Okay, so I'm going to give us a few minutes. I've got my passage here, and we're just going to read through them on our own. N is new. A is answered.
I will do it. So we're gonna write like what it's called and mark it, or we're gonna
Whichever, if you want to make a note or if you want to mark it on here. I'm probably just going to mark mine on here. If it's an answered question, hit it with an A. If it's a new question, hit it with an N, just because that seems to be more efficient. Are we good? Okay. So a lot of the things, I'm not y'all share first, but a lot of the things that I marked were things that we kind of pointed out as we were going through discussing it. So it was just solidified that. And for the lack of space, this is going to be a blanker chart. So y'all share with me what you found, and I'm going to jot down quick notes. So we know somewhere they have organizations like we do. Can you think of like, okay, what kind of organizations do we have around here?
like the food shelter.
Okay. I even kind of thought about like clubs at school, like we're all kind of working towards the same goal. So that was a similarity. The organizations like food shelters to help people. I love it. What'd you find in there?
There's one big difference that I saw that school sometimes had to close or have fewer classes because of lack of teachers.
Where were the teachers at?
Because some of the teachers might have been boys and some of the boys might have been in the war.
That was one of the first things that I marked up when I talked about brothers and fathers going off to war. Okay. Do you have anything else you want me to add to the chart?
They still had music and they went to the movies.
Okay, so they were still finding leisurely ways to enjoy their time. Music, movies, I think it said something about laughing with friends in there. Okay.
And then, so I don't know if this would be a similar thing or a different thing, because it says that one of the big challenges for German girls were the school.
Mm-hmm.
So, in a way, I feel like that would be similar, in a way, I feel like it would be different.
Okay, tell me more.
So, for how it would be the same is some people have trouble at school because they don't feel comfortable there.
Mm-hmm.
And a way that it would be different is whenever it was in war, you didn't have very many classes or stuff to go off of to learn.
Yeah.
So
you weren't getting the same learning opportunities as the other people. Okay, let me look over mine. Something that stood out to me that was way different than our life. It was talking about they were dropping bombs on the cities, and so girls had to be ready to go use bomb shelters and stay safe. And I said, wow, I can't imagine. Okay, so you're going to get to keep your passage with you now that we have shared. Our last step is we're going to go off this 3, 2, 1. And it is 3 things that I have learned, 2 things that I would like to learn about, and a new question that has sparked with you. And when we're done with that, you guys can go. Thank y'all for reading with the question in mind with me.